if you are a professional speaker or it's one of your ambitions, and listen very closely. I'm Annik. I'm the founder of Speaker Express, and we run speaking accelerator programs here in London. And one of the things speakers would always say at the end of their program is, Annik, it was the feedback that made the biggest difference. Getting feedback from someone who's further along the line. Now I'm here with Nick. Nick runs a company called Conscious Communication, and I want to pick his brain a little bit about feedback, because we always say to people, tell a speaker a stretch, one thing that could do even better, and tell them something that was really, really, really good. But there's more to this, right?
So, thank you. So giving effective feedback is one of the easiest and most effective ways of making improvements. However, a lot of feedback is not given most effectively. And if I can explain why, it's because, as I've spoken before, you know that although our brain's only 2% of our total body weight, it actually uses 25% of all our energy.
Oh, wow.
So, let me explain. Give you an example. So, Annik, tell me what you see.
I would a plant pot, like I would put a plant on it.
A plant pot. So if you're looking at this, you'll see either a plant pot, a vase, or maybe some faces. Two faces?
I stick to my plant.
You stick to your plant pot, it's fine. But in truth, what is it really that you can see?
It's like a black blob of paint on a white piece of paper.
Exactly. But you probably heard the phrase that human beings are meaning machines. We make meaning far quicker than we can find evidence. And that's what happens with feedback. Is people give the meaning of something they get rather than the piece of evidence that starts it. So if you're a speaker, it's really important that you're given the evidence. So if I was giving you feedback, when you introduced it and you said, for example, I'm Annik and this is what I do, then I thought your energy was fantastic. So you know exactly what it was that caused the reaction within me.
So being really specific, like bring the speaker back to the exact moment. So actually when you do feedback now, it's instead of saying you were very passionate, I hear this a lot, that people say that, you would say, look, when you were talking about your dog and that story, I could feel the passion.
Yeah, if you start your feedback with evidence instead of opinion, a number of things happen. So in my brain, if you give me some evidence and I recognize it as truth, it seems to increase the validity of your next statement. If you give me opinion first, well, we're just into opinion, and everyone's got an opinion.
So do you have, because that's a very good point here, do you have another example of opinion versus evidence?
Well, so many times, if you ask people for feedback, they'll go, yes, it was good. Now, that's no help to anyone.
Yeah.
If I receive that, it'll make me feel nice to a point, but it doesn't help me make progress. So if somebody says to me, Nick, when you came to the front and you waited a moment and you seemed to center yourself and then you spoke, that gave me confidence that you knew what you were doing. So I've got a specific thing that I did and a particular reaction. Now, somebody else may say, when you stood at the front and you stood for a minute, I thought you'd forgotten your lines. So it can be the same piece of evidence can give different inferences, different results in different people's minds.
Yeah, that makes
But at
sense.
least you've got a point of evidence to start from. Whereas, for example, I've had other people say, when you made that aside, for me it undermined you. And you go, yes. So now I know, don't make those asides. They just get in the way. So the one thing that I want to emphasize is that evidence-based feedback is enormously helpful, and it's hard work. It's more work for our brain than just giving our opinion.
but you know what? And you will see, like moving forward, whenever you see a speaker and you're thinking, oh, if I would be there with that person and he would ask me, this is the feedback I would give. It also helps you to become a better speaker, because if you want to improve as a speaker even faster, just be part of a community that enables you to give feedback, because it takes the learnings in for you much deeper as well.
Absolutely.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Super. Now, let's say, I wanted to ask him a very difficult question. Okay, let me ask. Especially when starting out, and someone says this about your performance, someone says you're passionate, someone says you're too calm, someone says you don't make good enough eye contact. You get so much conflicting feedback. Everyone says something different. Who do you listen to?
You listen, in my opinion, you listen to the person who gives you evidence. If someone says, when you did X, that's when I felt your passion. And if you want them to feel passion. If someone says, when you did this, I switched off because I was bored, then you've got something you can really work with.
Yeah.
You only get conflicting feedback that's difficult to deal with when it's vague. You can get conflicting feedback when it's evidence-based as well. It's not perfect.
Yeah, okay. But just, yes, being really specific. Thank you so much. I think I got it. Now, you can be a better speaker simply by applying that, or check us out on speakerexpress.co.uk, or have a look. I'm going to post Nick's website as well. He is from Conscious Communication. Thanks for sharing.